Hey, welcome back to Unapologetic Truth Channel. I wanted to circle back. I did, in fact, watch the movie Leave the World Behind, and I wanted to share some thoughts, things that I've noticed that maybe other people hadn't talked about, or at least I don't recall hearing talked in any detail. The videos that I watched anyway about the movie, there were several themes that really stuck out in my mind overall with the movie. And this is basically, I'm not going to rehash what I spoke about previously, but I just want to highlight some of these themes that just really stood out to me. And I don't know if other people picked up on it, but share your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you thought in reference to these specific themes in the movie itself. One of the themes overall that I saw was, and actually they relate to each other. So one of the themes being the sexual theme, the sexual situations, just different things throughout the movie. They just were really trying to push that on people throughout the entire movie. First of all, what stood out to me was, yes, of course there's going to be cursing, but it wasn't even literally, it was probably the first 5-6 sentences, less than 20 sentences in, and you got it's a constant F-bomb being dropped the whole movie. Like that specific word in different phrasing, whether it be with the parents, the children, everybody was using this one particular curse word. Not that I condone any of that, but I know what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about a worldly movie being created by elitists. So yes, of course I know they're going to be vulgar. I mean, I expected more cursing than that, but literally the F-bomb was constantly being thrown the whole entire movie. And then it clicked at the end of all of that. It really clicked. I'm like, that's why. The whole movie was also pushing that sexual agenda. So they're trying to program people with that repetition, hearing that word constantly being played throughout the movie. Goes along with the different scenes that were going on that pertain to the sexual thing. Sexual tension was definitely throughout the movie. And of course you had, the son with his lewdness that was going on, and the voyeurism there, and you had the innuendos going on with the so-called black daughter and the Caucasian man. Like, hello. Like, who else is this? Is like really jumping out. First, I mean, you just could see the sexual tension like immediately. I was watching the clips and I could see that when I first even saw the clip. I'm like, wow, like who can't see all of this sexual tension the daughter, and then what made it worse too was you had the so-called black girl, the young lady, well, supposedly, she's parading around in skimpy clothes almost the entire movie. The showing all the tattoos and everything else, So they're pushing these innuendos, these so-called subtleties, but they're really not that subtle to a discerning mind and eye. So I'm like, okay, I see that. I see what they're doing there. And that goes along with the other part of that was the racial sexual tension. So they were pushing that agenda, and I'm going to say so-called black-white thing, because of course here you have the Caucasian wife talking to the so-called black man and spending time with him and getting to know him, and lo and behold, when they pull out the record, she's all like, yeah, oh no, I want to hear this. Of course, when I looked at the album cover, I'm like, I know what song they're getting ready to play. And sure enough, everybody knows that song from that group. That was like their biggest song. Too Close? Really? Yeah, that was the club banger, because you're literally dancing with somebody, and yeah, I see your bump coming through. Come on, like, who? Everybody knows that was in that heyday what that song was about. And sure enough, here they go dancing to that. I'm like, okay. So at first I fast forwarded, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me pop back a little bit, because I did want to hear what they were saying, because I saw he was getting teary-eyed and all that. But I didn't even want to hear, truthfully. Oh, that's what I should have did, actually. I should have muted and just let the closed captioning say what was going on, because I didn't want to hear them lyrics. I didn't want to hear that song, because I knew where I was back in the day and what that song was about and all of that. So I didn't want that song in my mind, replaying in my mind. So I already knew what it was. So you have the wife's over here with him, and the husband's out there with the young girl. And of course, I knew what that was getting ready to, that conversation was going to lead into, because she was already kind of setting the stage for that with her flirtatious nature, which of course with the vaping, when you're vaping marijuana, for those that may not have known, that is a drug that heightens sexuality. That heightens libido. So it was no wonder that she was going to have that look in her eye, and then she's asking him the questions, like, really? Why would we want to know that? Like, okay, see where you're going with that. But so overall, that was definitely the theme with that. And what struck me too was you have to play the black-white thing, because the family unit on the so-called black people's side there was disconnect there, because the matriarch was not present. Okay, they had her somewhere else, but you couldn't be successful in pushing that agenda with the sexual themes with the interracial sexual things, if you have the matriarch present. So you have to get her out of the picture, because you just can't have the complete family unit on both ends, the white and the black. That's just not possible. You have to have the disconnect with the black on the black side. They always got to push that. And what better way? Oh yes, we're gonna constantly bombard you with visions, commercials, movies, everything. You always see interracial couples, because they are trying to break the family unit, the so-called black family unit. They're trying to dismantle that at every turn, and they've been doing it for decades now. So that was definitely something that stood out in my mind. Yeah, you definitely couldn't have her there, because that would break all of that situation up. So those two things were what stood out to me, very much so. And on a side note, the Tesla cars, that scene, like I said, I don't recall that people talked about the fact that these were all white Teslas they were showing. Why white? Out of all, because we know that Tesla have other colors. They have other cars out there. Why was it specifically white? As another underlying agenda. They're trying to show the blockage that's taking place is happening with, but I don't want to get too deep on that, but I'll let y'all think on that a little bit more, those that did see the movie. The last thing I want to talk about, and this was the advertisement when the movie first started. It was kind of the still picture, if you will, that they used to advertise the movie. So when the deer was on the highway, the deer was also an underlying theme of the whole movie. Why is that? Y'all think now, y'all that really go deep and think deeply and are beyond just the surface level, get what I'm saying here. The deer, think about the antlers. Think about what that equivalates on the elitist side. Okay? I'm not going to post a picture, but what does the symbolization of the Illuminati, what is that all about? They always push that look with the deer, the antlers, the Baphomet. Y'all with me on this? Y'all getting that connection? The whole time, especially when they were in the woods trying to shoo away all those deer. What did you see? What were they constantly showing you? The faces of the deer, and with the antlers, like right in your face, so that was definitely their so-called quote-unquote calling card. They were letting you know what this was all about, and who's going to bring all this about. Again, these elites, they hide everything in plain sight. So we definitely want to take heed to what these elites are doing and what they're planning, especially as 2024 progresses on. I'm going to end this with a reminder, actually, a reminder scripture. This is in 2 Corinthians 6. And I'm going to start at verse 14. Do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership have righteousness and lawlessness? And what fellowship has light with darkness? And what agreement has Mashiach or Messiah with Belial or Baal? Molech, Baal, with the enemy, the adversary, the devil. That's all the same names. The meaning of Belial. Or what part does a believer have with an unbeliever? And what union has the Mishkan or temple of Elohim with idols? For you are a Mishkan of the living Elohim. As Yahuwah has said, I dwell in them and walk among them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Therefore, come out from among them and be separate, says Yahuwah, and do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you. And this is ending with verse 18. And I shall be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says Yahuwah El Shaddai. And El Shaddai Almighty, I believe that is. So, please, y'all, understand, we are truly, I can't say it enough, we are truly in the last days. And they literally put this movie out there to slap all of us, well, those that aren't, not all of us, because some of us know what time it is and we're not falling for their agendas. And we're exposing the truth. But they try to slap people in the face and insult people's intelligence. And they put this stuff out there to let us know what they really feel. Like Amanda in the played by Julia Roberts. The first little monologue or semi-monologue at the beginning of the movie, where the first F-bomb was dropped, talking about she hates people. Well, there you have it. That is what they're telling you. They hate people. They don't care about you. They are the workers of iniquity, of unrighteousness. They are Ha-Satan's people. And they're following him and everything that he's about. He don't have any love for you. He never did and never will. He's jealous because he can't be what you are, what I am. He will never be that. And he's already defeated. And so we always got to remember that. He doesn't have the victory. If we are true believers and we are living according to the Most High Elohim, according to his mandates, his statutes and commands, we don't got to worry about it. This is a time for us. We should be so we should be joyful right now, regardless of what's going on, because this is just more confirmation that we don't have long, and we have to stay the course, regardless of what's going on out here in these physical streets, in these internet streets. None of that matters. Before I close, I want to share a dream, or a vision, I should say, that I was given via a dream. And I wanted to share this, and it does fall in line with this that I'm speaking about. But in part of this dream vision, it had to do with the Satan Club that's being promoted in schools. And it was this club, and of course, again, this was this Satan club that was being trying to meet, and they were trying to recruit students to come to a meeting. And they even had one of the students was reading. Now, this was a student that was attending. They were reading from a book, and they didn't realize that they were reading a spell until they were already reading. And it was almost in the movie. If y'all remember the movie Get Out, it was as if this young man, you could hear what you couldn't make. I couldn't make out what he was saying, but his voice was breaking up as if he was about to cry, because what he was reading, he was as if it wasn't him trying to read it. It was like that scene in Get Out where the character, I believe his name was Chris, was crying, because he was trapped. The real him was trapped and could not get out. And so that stood out to me. And then there was another scene. I'm not going to give the whole, the entire vision, but I'm going to highlight that and this other scene, which showed these students just leaving, like just walking out of this door, out of this room. And I'm assuming it was where the meeting was held, but they were like zombies. They were just walking out. And it just, one particular young man was walking out, and he just looked totally zoned out. And it was like, wow. When I woke from that dream, I was just like, wow, Father, this is deep. These clubs are going around across the country, and they're starting, and they're trying to say, oh, we don't promote that. We're not promoting to worship Satan and all of that. That's how subtle they're trying to put that twist on it. But I'm like, this is terrible. It's dangerous. It's terrible. And it troubled my spirit when I woke up from that. And I'm just like, Father, this is too real. This is too real out here. I went to the dentist today, and I get in. I don't even get in the chair good, and what's on the TV, because they have TV, you can watch TV while you're getting worked on. And that's what reminded me to even think about taking the time to watch Leave the World Behind. Was the hygienist was already on Netflix, and she happened to have up Harry Potter. And I was like, yeah, no, yeah, can we turn something else on? And I could like tell, like, she had that passive aggressiveness about it. Like, she was like, well, what do you want to, you know what I mean? What do you want to watch, So, yeah, she was kind of offended by that a little bit. And I'm like, look at that. Look how dangerous this whole thing is. People don't even realize that the spirit realm is real. This is no joke out here. They get highly offended. People get highly offended behind that kind of stuff. Harry Potter, technically I'm the customer, so shouldn't you be wanting to make me comfortable? Like, I don't want to see no daggone Harry Potter up on. Yeah. Truthfully, I was about to say, yeah, turn off the TV, and then I remembered about the movie. I was like, well, go ahead and let me go ahead. So she just ended up giving me the remote. But I could tell that she had some kind of attitude, because she was coming off like that toward me. If I'd have seen her face through the mask, then I would have really known. But I'm like, okay, I don't need to know facial expressions because I can hear it all. But it's serious out here, y'all. This is no joke. These are the end times, and it's getting serious. It's getting more serious. The spiritual realm is real, and we have to be mindful of that. We need more spiritual warfare. We need to combat the enemy. This is serious times we are living in, and we have to have a level of spiritual warfare because people ain't getting it in the churches. Geno Jennings, watching the video, yeah, he sure wasn't getting that demon out of that young man, which I figured that much because of what he's all about. He wasn't getting nothing out of that young man. And that, y'all willing, I'm going to do a video as I go further into some study, but I'm going to talk about that and touch on the difference between the Holy Spirit and the Holy Ghost, because that is definitely, there's a major difference. And in that particular video, you could definitely see what was working. Okay, the discerning eye, those that have a discerning spiritual eye, the spirit of discernment, knew what they were seeing. And it definitely showed you this is what churchianity is all about. It was definitely something that just spoke volumes to me. And he literally got mad at the person needing deliverance because they weren't being delivered. He tried to flip it around on them because his pride got the best of him. So, yeah, but I digress with that. But that was just another example where people are not getting it in these churches. They're not getting deliverance. Nobody, I don't know of anybody that has a real, true deliverance ministry, because it's serious. And most of these churches are not even telling the truth to their congregation so they can be delivered. They got them in bondage. So you can't deliver anybody when you're bound up. It doesn't happen. So I wanted to share those things with you, and I pray this is edifying. All praise to the Most High Yahuwah. He is the author and the finisher of our faith, and He gets the final say when all is said and done. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. It is in the Word. It is in, I believe it's the book of Enoch, definitely talks about that. Where the bottom line is, if you don't bow now, you're gonna bow later. The bowing will take place. Whether you want to or not, it's still going to take place. So I want to be on the right side of truth. I want to be on the winning side. I want to ride with the Father and Yahushua HaMashiach, as the world calls Jesus Christ. I want to be riding in that army. And I pray that I am counted worthy to escape what's coming. On that note, I'm going to say shalom. Have a blessed day, evening, night, wherever you may be. May the Father bless you and keep you. I'm praying for y'all. Shalom.
Just heat on the beat.